All right, just want to give you guys a quick recap of the Scalper indicator on target flow trading. This is a scalping trading system trading on the NASDAQ or MNQ, MNQ futures. So if you guys are looking for a scalping futures strategy, this is going to be a great one for you to look at. Let's just walk through this. So this is basically the trades that happened today, and I'll walk through each one of them. You can kind of see where things ended, profits, losses, things like that. Okay, so let's just jump into this real quick. Now we do have a money management box up here that kind of tells you where the market's at. It's closed right now, but well, it's not closed. It's almost closed right now. So this will change here and there. You can kind of put in there what kind of money you want. I'll talk about that in a minute. But what you're going to look at first is this is market open. Today is October the 9th on Thursday. Start of the market. Now I don't trade the first 15 minutes, which is why these are grayed out. Now signals still occur. You can still take the trades if you want. But anyway, this kind of gives you an idea. Hey, maybe hold off. The reason we do that is because this calculation uses ATR, average true range. So it's going to look back and say, hey, what was the last 10 candles range? So the problem is it's looking here when this candle opens. So it doesn't really tell you where to get in and get out. So if you look at this, here's your entry, right? Well, it came down and then obviously popped up and then came down. So you would have lost on this one entering, but you really don't know where your target's at because it put a target right there. But the problem was the true range was based off this. It really wasn't based off of some of these moves. So anyway, that's why I kind of avoid it. Wait for those market to settle there a little bit to give us better accuracy there. So anyway, first trade there. Now this is a tight one here. So you would have got in, or you may have held off depending on that little mark there where it comes down and very ticked into the entry price. Again, stopped out and then came down for profit. So if you had a larger stop loss, maybe if you didn't play with a stop loss and just risking it, you could have made your profits at that line on the next bar there. So these are Heikin-Ashi candles. Keep that in mind that it is definitely riskier this time of day. This next trade came through at 9:38 Eastern, 7:38 my time. Gave us our signal here. Price was there, came down, and then a minute later came down. Never got close to our stop loss. So that one was a profit. So even if you went, this one was a loss, made back all your money at this one here. So, and then again, it's based off of true range. So let's look at this. If this was our entry, our target would have been somewhere in 37 ticks. Would have been your pricing there. Here, this one shows, I'll give or take a little bit, 22. So you can see the difference just in 10 minutes, 8 minutes, how much that ATR changed because it was based off of these ones back here versus these ones, okay? Anyway, so profits there if you took that, okay? Sell signal at this point here. This would be your first one. As you can see, price looks like it was here. It gave a signal, but if you notice right here, candle did not break our entry. This is one of the key points in this strategy. If it breaks by 1 or 2 ticks, you got to kind of watch that, take the trade, right? If it doesn't break it, or if it's really having a hard time coming down, hold off, wait. Okay, so anyway, this was not a trade. You would not have gotten in on this. Obviously, if you would have been stopped out. So if you're taking every trade just blindly, sell signals, you get in a sell, and buy, you get into a buy, you're not going to have the greatest accuracy because you will see probably 3 to 5 of these a day that come through, and we'll walk through those, okay? All right, next trade here. This is our next sell signal. Entry was here, stop loss was up here, target down here. Just a couple minutes later, came down and hit it. Now look at the difference here in the ATR. Roughly there's our entry, and now we're at 60 ticks, okay? So as this is happening, this up here is telling you, as I said, if we started this video, it was 17. This is saying 60. So over here, we would set it and we'd say, hey, we got to be at 60. I'm only willing to risk $150 on a trade, which is what this is telling us. This isn't going to match up, but now it's saying 870. Well, obviously I'm not going to trade 29 micro contacts, but I may trade 4. Let's see what that number gets us to, 120. So we'd need to probably go to 6. That puts us at 180, go to 5, and that's 150. So that's our risk of 5. This would tell us that. This would actually tell us 5 ticks or 5 contracts to use to get 150. And you change that in settings, what you're willing to risk in this area, okay? Anyway, that was profits, right? And then this next one may come through and it will tell you, oh, you should be targeting roughly, 28 ticks, 36 ticks, whatever it is based on the market, whatever the market's doing, okay? All right, so next one was entry here, stop was down here, target here, hit. Next one was a sell, a couple minutes later. Again, these are every 1 minute. Entry, there's your target. You can see it did not hit, but where were we at? If we got in roughly right around here, price came down to 45 ticks out of 60. So it's always important once maybe you see halfway to move your stop up to break even or secure profits as it's moving down. Okay, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You can see all the signals that come through today. If you just kind of blindly take them on stops and profits, you're giving up a lot of profit on a couple of these that just don't hit it, okay? So it's important to watch what you're doing and watch the trades. If it's struggling to come down and maybe you see something that's hard to break a line of support and resistance, You got to watch that. Okay. Next one was a stop loss was down here on a buy, entry, and your take profit. Again, this one was right to the top there. We probably missed one by 2 or 3 ticks. I think I've got it written out. Let me just look here. Okay, now we're getting into some slow trades. So I've marked off these trades, and we'll go over that in just a minute. This is where it was a slow little market, okay? Let me just walk through that, take this off. We got our sell entry here. We came down, again, kind of similar to this one over here, where it never came down and really broke this area right in this area here. So, you could move your stop up, or if you're in a loss, that's your stop loss right there. It never got up there. And then this market just chopped. And that's why I drew that circle, said slow market, and, time to wait for something better. Because it did give a buy, but it never, it did cross up there. So you got to sell a buyer, or you maybe taking a small loss here. You just never know. So I put on here, I think it even says here, slow trade, wait for something to move. Well, obviously it didn't move for a little while. We've seen a little more movement happen. But let's just care about the signals directly, okay? So that's where you can kind of get stuck in some mess. So it's important to watch the market as well instead of just blindly taking signals. Okay, we've got a buy here. Again, we missed target because the market was so slow. Next time we get a sell here, entry, came down, took our profits. We're good there. Now we start to see the market moving, right? Okay, and sell signal, target a couple minutes later, hit there. A little bit further down, our entries right here, profits here. Market did come down, came back up. Now, if you moved your stop, maybe a break even, or up, in some profits, you got out of there with either break even or small profits. But it did come down and hit a few minutes later. So, these are plays where are you at in the day? How many of these have you won? Are you still trying to hit a certain value number? You can see that. So, anyway, I hope that helps you understand money management. Your trading management also is a big key into this. Like, market's moving slow. I need to watch it. I don't want to get back all the profits that are cleared on here. You can kind of see where it could, give you some retracements in previous candles like up here. Just watch that. Okay. Okay. Buy signal happened here. Entry a couple minutes later came up and hit us out right there. Okay. Buy signal. Now this one's a tough one because you can see it barely came above that candle. Now, again, that's something maybe you can watch. And sometimes this will actually open right there and put a little wick, even though really it never really breaks it. So as you're watching this chart, you can kind of see, and hey, what's the matter? If it goes up 3 or 4 and you get in and then it starts to go, you gave up 3 or 4 ticks is all, instead of, you don't want to jump up and clear up here or here to get that target. You want to get in right at the way. And again, some of these may be a loss. The stop would have been right there. But that could have been a loss for you. That could have been a no trade at all. So this next one here is a no trade. And you can see why. There's our entry, but price never got there. Okay, so this was a no trade. And I think I marked this one out as a no trade because I was watching it and it didn't get into this one. So I'll look at these in just a minute here. Okay, so our next one is a entry here, stop up here, and target here. A couple minutes later, did come down and hit. Another one further down, entry here, target there. On a buy the other way, our entry was here, target was here. Entry here, we missed our target here. So again, where you brought that down, you could have made some profits on that as well, okay? Again, or if not, if you're just blindly taking those, you'll hit about 65% accuracy if you're not watching your trades. If you're just blindly taking a buy and a sell and don't care if it ever goes, breaks that line, you'll probably be 65 to 70. If you're watching the charts and you don't take these 3 to 5 ones a day, you'll be closer to 80% accuracy with these signals by you managing your money and your trades itself, okay? All right, so now we get into roughly 10 o'clock Mountain Time, noon p.m., noontime Eastern Time, and I don't trade that, which is why it turns great, because then you get a lot of this, a lot of these signals. Some of them play out, but some of them don't. A lot of them are just kind of choppy chop, okay? So there are moves, obviously there are, but it's just sometimes it doesn't move at all. Today was actually a pretty good mover on some of these, but a lot of signals that I wouldn't even want to get into, okay? So let me go back here and show you real quick. Our little triangles here, what I put out here. Okay, so this one I put, it could have been a loss or could have been, you made some profits and closed out with that one. So depending on you, but it did hit 22 out of 31 in that range there, okay? This one was a win, this one was a win. There was a win, so no trade, a win, another win, another win, another win, another one that won 20 of 38. So again, that probably most likely could have been a break even for you if you were, watching it. This is when I said it was slow, but I did put that one down as a, you were up in a little bit of profits, but it could have been a loss as well. 44 out of 46. So you just barely missed, which one was, this one right here. This one at the very top right there. You barely missed that one. So hopefully at that point, you're still securing some profits. Okay. So that was another one that we barely missed on. Made some money on that one. Made money on this one down here. Did not take that one because it never crossed. And then these ones here. Now this one I did put this one, but now looking at it, it did not, just because of the stop went up there. So that one actually would be a loss if you took that one. Okay, so you can see, like I said, it's about 70 to 80% accuracy depending on the trade you take for it. But really the key is here, if you're hitting 7 out of 10 trades, you're in good profits for the day. Okay. All right, and then this is what's important, that money management. So let me just show you that really quickly. Go into settings, and if we change this, let's just go for 450. Okay, so this number, instead of showing 20 contracts, will actually show a different number. Now it's not going to be accurate because you're not going to really trade 60 contracts, because why? The market is too slow right now. Look at that, 15 ticks for your stop loss and take profit. Now that's just because the market's almost closing here in about 35 minutes, so that's not going to be accurate. But during the day, when these moves are happening here, this will show 50 or 40 or 30, somewhere there, and it would say maybe 15 or 12 or 8, whatever those numbers calculate for. Okay, so if we go in here and put $75, it will now take this number down, and that's 10 contracts. But again, these are just too low to trade. So when the market gets too low, and this is set at 12, when it gets below 12, it'll actually say no signals. But since we're not to that point yet, I'm just going to change this to 20. So basically saying, hey, if these are under 20, this is going to change this. And now it's going to say signals disabled. And just because it's too low, right? It's below 20. So now on the chart, you will not see any signals show up. None of these little signal alerts will show up because the market is too slow. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're trading. And that's why I don't trade, later hours. I do trade that last hour of the market. Sometimes you can see here, it did turn 1 o'clock my time. So there's a buy, that one would have paid out. There's a buy, that would have paid out. That one here would have been a loss because you would have barely got in on that one and come down and lost, depending on if it came down first and then went up. It's hard to see because I wasn't obviously there. Missing just a little bit there. Missed a little bit there. Could have still made some profits unless you held on the entire way. So anyway, there's still a few more trades to go. Usually this last hour is a little more accurate there. So a few more trades to take. But this whole area here, like I said, today there were some decent moves in it. I wouldn't say great big moves, but win is there, win is there. Never got in on that one. Win on this one. Kind of your choppiness there. You don't really know if, hey, are you getting in? Are you taking a loss? Are you switching positions? So that's why I just avoid it. Okay. But anyway, you can just see there's a lot more smiley faces than, frozen scary faces, whatever you want to call that, and a few more of these that you barely missed at. So anyway, guys, this is a great trading system. Roughly 75 to 80% accuracy if you're really watching the charts, and the money management is key. So a lot of good stuff built into the indicator itself. We've got our ATR. You can change these values here if you want a little larger targets, but you can see we're just scalping small areas. So I just kind of keep it there where we're at. We're not going to catch those big moves with this trading system. You're going to catch 30 to 50 to 60 ticks. You're not going to catch 300 ticks. You're going to want to have a different, longer term strategy for that. So which we can offer that with the target flow trading system as well. Okay, flat market, I talked about that. That's what changes it. So now it'll change back to now, like if you're really going to trade, that would be the numbers you'd actively use. Okay, trading hours, you can pick which time you want to see these signals show up, if it's specific to certain trading hours there. Okay, and then you can go down here, entry lines, targets. You can kind of change how you want to view these. Real price dots. That's where the candle closed at. Those little dots. That's why they're on there. These are the gray areas that I showed. What times I have those come on and off. Pivot lines. Those are great for targets. Support and resistance is built in. And then the exit signals I didn't talk about yet, but I will right now. Let me just show you those. So these are overbought and oversold situations, right? The market comes down. Hey, the market's been oversold. Maybe it's time to get out. Okay, well, the market did retrace. It even came down further and gave another one. So then look what happens, right? Market comes up. Okay, let's see if we can find another signal on how accurate it is. That one did have a retrace. Still pushed down, right? It's on a minute chart, so it's hard to really calculate these 100%. But for the most part, it kind of tells you, hey, the market's at a point. It's still going to come down. And, usually at this point, you're like, okay, I better watch my trades. It's overbought at this point, or it's oversold, whichever way you're going. And that's where you got to watch, taking these extra trades. Okay. Here, this one again, either you did get in or you barely missed it. Either way, you're at the top of where things are overbought. All right. So here's a sell, came down, went a little further, right? It did. It happens. But it's a good time to say, hey, where are we at in the market? If this gave a signal right here, would you want to take it? Maybe not. Yeah, it would have paid out here, but it's hard to say, right? Okay, so let's go up here a little bit, exit again, and then we're kind of we're flattened out. Okay, So you can see the importance of using the exit signals, and you can keep kind of your runs and say, hey, I'm going to hold off of this. Everything's green. Everything's looking good. I'm going to wait for an exit signal, and you can do that. We do have market flow exit signals you can plot on your chart, or you can have a little indicator itself that actually shows you how it's climbing up into a overbought, oversold range. So anyway, guys, this is just kind of a great little system to trade here. We call it the scalper because you can see it just literally just scalping small little moves here for you to make some money in as the market's moving around. Again, you're not catching, full moves top to bottoms. It's more just like, hey, we found a situation where we feel there's some selling pressure, take it. Some more selling pressure, take it. We switch to buying pressure, take it. So anyway, hope this helps you guys out, get a good understanding of the scalper trading system and just kind of the daily results from what it did today. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.